Hey guys, what's up? If you've been following the channel for a few months by now, you'll probably know that a few months ago I quit my job, I packed up my laptop and some clothes and whatever, jumped on a plane to Japan and decided to go here and work on our game, Forge Industry. And the reason I did that is because right after quitting my job, there were a few things going on. First of all, we were approaching our release deadline, which is now June 30th. So it's about 2 weeks from when I'm recording this. If you don't know yet, you can go and look, first link down below, wishlist us. It's a resource management automation game, but that's not the point. Second reason is I wanted to be able to work focused. Because I knew that, I don't live with my parents anymore, but even if I just was in the same country as them, they don't really understand what did I do, why did I quit my job that was paying like 100K a year to make games, and it would just be bothering me a lot. And I was like, no, I need to make this a success. I've made this huge step and I don't want to ruin it now. And that was part of why I went to Japan. I had the goal of truly working focused and working as efficiently as possible to work as much as possible to just finish the game in an amazing state. And what some people call this is monk mode. So if you've been on the self-improvement side of YouTube, monk mode is this period in time where for between usually something like 10 days or 2 weeks and 2 months at most, you seclude yourself from your average life and you go monk mode. You basically just have intense focus and dedication, but instead of meditating, you're working on your business or you're working on yourself, like body-wise, physique-wise, anything like that. And the point of this is to remove any distractions that could slow down your progress in improvement. So I applied some of those principles because I am quite a self-improvement nut as well. I decided to take some of those principles and apply them whilst I was here the past few months, whilst working on our own game and whilst being a game developer. And I figured I would just sit down in this video and go over what did I do, what are some other things you can do, what did I learn, and just in general, should you also consider going into monk mode, things like that. So if it interests you, stick around. Now, there are a lot of online interpretations. If you just Google monk mode or you find some YouTube videos about it, it's filled with all these various protocols and routines and day in the life videos. But the most core central idea usually is to cut down on distractions and mainly cut down on your phone usage and on being connected to the rest of the world. And there are two ways you can do this. The first way is simply the easy one that everyone can do is to just, use your phone less. Think about things like screen time. Have a widget with your daily screen time on it as well, like at the front page of your phone, so you always know how much have you been using your phone that day. Putting your phone on flight mode, for example, or disabling all notifications so that even if someone sends you a message, you don't get interrupted from your work with it. And I do that. I've been doing that for basically the past year. Whenever I get a message, unless it's from someone that is important, and then I don't mean my friends, but if it's from someone who usually never messages me, my phone will not vibrate at all. So I will never get that distraction. I have to actually consciously pick up my phone and look, did I get any messages? And you just learn to not look at it that much. And the second thing, the way that you can cut down these distractions is something I learned while I was here in Japan that I hadn't really thought about. And it's the concept of time zones. Most of the people I know and I interact with all live in Belgium or in the same CEST time zone. That's 7 hours behind of Japan. So that means that basically until 1, 2 p.m. my time, nobody is awake. Everyone's asleep. So even if I wanted to talk to someone, no one could respond. So this really forced me to be productive really, because what else am I gonna do? I was just sitting in the mornings, working on my game with no distractions at all. And that's also how I structured my day usually. A second principle that monk mode has is, a very routine wake up early schedule. Usually it's wake up early because in general it's seen to be better as a morning person than to keep grinding late at night. I know for programmers, a lot of you guys are like, oh, I work best between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. I was never like that. I've always been a morning person. And especially here in Japan, because I wake up with light very easily. I've been waking up basically 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., maybe a bit early sometimes, but this has given me truly immensely long mornings where I just worked, almost 7 hours before lunch even, and also then before anyone got up. And that allowed me to do the most work really. I can really see that the work I did in the mornings was very focused, whereas the work I do in the afternoons, first of all, I've already worked 6 hours maybe. So it's more like chill work that I try to do, like figure out some localizations or fix some small issues. And in the afternoons, I also go out and enjoy my life a bit, or the evenings. Now, you know, some other very core monk mode principles are things like going to the gym. Now, I wasn't able to apply this as easily because I don't have a gym subscription here. I have one in Belgium. But instead, what I try to do is I try to get a lot of steps in every day, around 10,000. So everywhere I go to, I just walk to it. And even if it takes like half an hour to walk there, or maybe even longer, either I just take that time to relax, so I don't do anything except just walk around, no music or anything. Or if I do feel like, you know, I still have some brain energy, I'll put on a game dev related podcast. I really love the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. There are podcasts where they interview various roles between studios, whether AAA or indie, or I just listen to some music or whatever to let my brain do some more thinking. But ideally you want to do something like actual strenuous activity, like lifting weights, as that's also just part of monk mode. And that is something that I do miss because I really like going to the gym in Belgium. I go like between 5 to 6 or sometimes even 7 times a week, where I do cardio, I lift weights, I go and do yoga, stuff like that to keep my body moving. And of course there are plenty of other things monk mode related that aren't fully related to game dev, so I'll leave those out. If you're more interested into monk mode as a general concept, there's plenty of other YouTubers. I just wanted to talk more about how does it apply to game development. Now, was it a success? That's probably the big question you guys have, and I do think there is a lot of good thing with it. I've been able to work a lot, even with my more limited setup of just my laptop. And I do think that there has been a lot of progress. And I can't fully give you a yes or no answer of this was the good idea or not, because I haven't tried staying in Belgium right after quitting my job. But I do feel like I would have gotten more done here. I think in Belgium I make a lot of excuses, or even here I made some excuse of, you know, these things, I don't really have the right setup. Back in Belgium I have like all of these monitors, I have my good keyboard, good chair, I can sit there for long. Whereas now I'm sitting on some like very uncomfortable wooden like back-breaking chair, and man, my back has been suffering. But I have performed so much work because there's no distractions here. That's the big thing. In Belgium, I was always distracted. There was stuff I needed to do around the house. I needed to clean or whatever. Right now I'm in like a 1-bedroom apartment that like doesn't really get dirty, so I don't really have to care about cleaning that often. I go out and eat because it's so cheap here, so no dishes and other things to distract me. So I do feel like I have achieved a lot here. The setup argument is a bit right. I do miss a second monitor, especially for when I was doing 3D modeling. It's a lot slower to do 3D modeling on just one laptop, but I got it working usually. And I do feel like once I'm back in Belgium, I have a few more days until we have to release the game. I will still go hard on that part where I do have the setup. Now, of course, not everyone can just pack up everything they have and then move 7 hours in time zones away from where they're currently at. So monk mode is also something that often is done just at home, but that requires a change, an extra change in your mindset basically of, I'm not just gonna go out and drink and whatever. And I think it is a lot harder to do at home. I will probably make an updated video of this like in half a year from now, when I'll go through another monk mode phase where I'll do it from home and I'll see how does it work there, because you have so much more distractions. Your friends want to go and hang out, or something happens and you need to take care of it. Whereas here, even if my house is on fire in Belgium, well, not much I can do with it. So there's no distractions here. Doing monk mode at home where you are right now is also feasible, but you really need to have the discipline to do it every day. And I think that that is where most people do struggle with a bit. Of course, that doesn't mean that it's impossible. So what I would do if you have like a somewhat deadline, or you feel like, you know, your game maybe has been in a bit of a slump and you haven't really been performing that well recently, or you haven't been able to implement the feature that you've really wanted to, try monk mode. So 10 days is the minimum. You shouldn't go in this as a like, oh, let's do a 48-hour no phone challenge or whatever. Monk mode is a bit different than those like dopamine detox challenges where you just want to like look at a wall for the entire time. Monk mode is about that true focus, and you need to have a solid goal before you start. Like, what do you want to achieve? For me, that is get the game in a releasable state before I go home. And you need to actually have enough things to work on. Also, I had no day job. It's a lot harder, of course, if you have a day job that may require you to lose your focus there. but you can still do monk mode when doing your day job. You can actually just, even if you're not a game developer, you can just do monk mode for your day job if you really want to hit a deadline there. Although you usually don't have the same motivation for that as you would have for like your own side project of game development, for example, or if you're planning to take your game development side project into your full-time project. And yeah, generally I would say try it out. This is a good starting video, I guess, and a lot of other videos also cover like very easy like monk mode principles and routines that you can apply. So that's really all I have to say. I hope you maybe learn a bit more about my insights. If you have any questions about what did I do, were there any other things that maybe you're wondering how did he do that, or what should I do in my case, feel free to leave them in a comment down below. I love to interact with you guys. And apart from that, if you're new here, we're a game development studio making our own game, Forge Industry, which we'll be releasing soon, as I said. And apart from that, we also make general game developer related content. Sometimes we do vlogs about our lives as game developers. Sometimes it's more about, for example, game design topics or marketing topics or anything. If you're a game developer, indie game developer, or just interested in the game development world, be sure to leave us a like and also subscribe, as it really helps us out. In exchange, you get 2 videos every week. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!